Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Yasser.
Oh, sorry. Hello, and a very good morning, good evening. I was just checking to make sure that all our listeners and viewers make sure they are aware of the safety instructions on this aircraft. So, in case of an emergency, if you need to evacuate, the slides will turn into rafts, and then you can go in the water. This
So
is
you can
Tadar
guess where
Khan.
Khan is actually.
Oh, you guessed it by now. Hello, everyone. I think we're about 33,000 feet, somewhere over the polar crossing near Iceland, somewhere there, on my way to Montreal, Canada.
Well, it's actually that time of the year. So, we've had a very, very good year for our second season on our podcast. A lot of new heights, literally. I mean, this is actually our third time we're doing this up in the air. And as usual, I think it's become Khan's signature thing while I'm here on the ground and he's up in the air.
I think this is our third episode in the air. I know there is another podcast in the air, but I think it's never in the air. Sorry, hinting at someone, but we are in the air.
Live.
Live very much. I mean, well, I'm using my phone. I can't really show you, but if you were to what? Okay, well, there you go. This is our cellar menu. Oh, proof as people would require. Um, that is my boarding pass. So yeah, very much up in the air and making this an habit for as long as we can.
Exactly. So we thought actually we want to use this episode to help maybe. One thing we've seen in the Middle East is that, it's always the time where things get rushed with new events and announcements and everything, but also at the same time, a little bit of a retrospective for how we've come this season, especially, I would say, well, I think I would start off first is that, we've taken a very big leap by actually trying to go out and getting guests to come on and talk more about relevant topics in the region.
No, no, very much. We've had some interesting guests that you have listened to in our previous episodes. If not, we can put them on the screen here or in the links as well. And these were not just that they were first on our show, but they were pretty much very first time for the region as well. Or for example, for Qatar for us, when we had iHeartMedia, they hadn't even stepped into the country or had any official meetings, press meetings, anything. For that, we brought you what they're gonna bring to the country and to the region, and that's why that's our goal, mine and Yaz's, to keep bringing. We may not be up to full speed at the moment. We are trying our best to bring you as much as you can, and and we'll try and speed things up and maybe be more regular. But this is the best we can offer you. What do you
Exactly. I
say,
mean,
Yazar?
yeah, I mean, I still remember at least when that news came out, I was like, I want to strike while the iron is hot. I mean, Khan, you know how things are in the Middle East, especially when trying to reach out to media departments. Either they will not respond to you or they'll respond after such a long time. But at least with iHeartMedia, now it's like, you know what? They're here. So why not reach out to them courtesy of their press contact email? And a conversation basically turned it into an opportunity. And it just takes one to first to help us get started, and that's what also made it easy
Yeah.
for us. And it was relevant to the region because we really wanted to expand more on. Yeah, they just announced setting up a podcast studio, not just in Qatar, but to cater to the wider MENA region.
Very much. This goes on to on show how keen we are to keep ourselves, ahead of the curve in a way, to be the first ones to know things, to be the first ones to bring you the information. And we always welcome, our followers and listeners to, if they have specific topics, if they have specific interests, do write to us. You don't need to wait for us to issue a form like we did last time for our LinkedIn episode. But you're more than welcome to share your ideas, and that helps us also think for our future episodes. I mean, that was another great episode, right? Yasser, with LinkedIn, with about LinkedIn personality with Sabine.
Yes,
That
exactly. I mean, personal branding, that's a concept that's been popular here in places like in the US and in Europe. But for the MENA region, that was another, topic we wanted to dive into. It still overlaps because right now a lot of trends are shifting, and especially, when it comes to hiring and all, and how people, don't tether themselves to an employer, but they stand out on their own knowledge and what they bring to the table.
very much. And then we have one more. I think it's going to come out just before this one. It's another interesting one that you should listen into.
Well, we actually forgot to mention that we also our second episode was actually very nicely timed with a guest who actually does align with the aviation industry. Funny thing is, he was also on the move, and he's a LinkedIn top voice. We forgot about Shashank.
Yep, Shashank. I have to message him. I think he's in London now. But yeah, that was another great episode. So that was I think a perfect epitome of connectivity and
Exactly.
technology. One guy in the air, one guy on the ground, one guy on the road. I'm like, you'd never get that anywhere else.
Exactly. That was like the perfect showcase or like pushing it to the limit of like, huh. Of course, the funny thing was that, with technical difficulties, Khan didn't experience any issues, but our guests sort of did, which is very ironic.
I was like 30 something thousand feet over Romania or something, flying at a speed of zero point 0.8 Mach. But someone on the road was having issues with, I don't know, Verizon or whatever the network Shashank was
Or
using over
T-Mobile
there,
or
or
AT&T.
T-Mobile.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly. Who knows?
that's how far we have come. Even remember the first episode we did. I was looking for aircrafts on the day and crossing fingers like, hopefully this aircraft has Starlink. Hopefully this aircraft has Starlink. Now I don't ever have to worry. I step on any 777, it has Starlink,
Yeah.
and and or maybe we'll keep that for the next episode.
Yeah, I think we will save. Yeah, we'll say that. We'll save. Let's not give away all the cards, but also building on what Khan just said. So, I mean, our fourth guest. The thing is, I actually just about a few hours ago had scheduled to publish the episode. So it was with well, we wanted to dive more and hear from regional voices. So Sami was someone, if anyone who loves Apple, will, they always obsessively follow any rumors or official announcements. And the nice thing about Sami was that he's a Saudi citizen and he was writing for a prominent, you know, Apple news site that covers everything from rumors or any supply chain product leaks and official announcement expanding on it. And that's something he's loved. And he's young. That's the most surprising thing. And with him, we actually got to talk more about, how Saudi in the past few years has now risen up, and all the major tech giants have just decided to come in and start. Well, I don't want to say invest, but really be a part of the country's development. As they're courting everyone. Like Hyundai is making cars, Lucid's making cars, Lenovo's making laptops, and Apple officially brought their online store. So there's a lot happening in the country, and it's been a big year for Saudi when it comes to tech.
But definitely, and they are not somewhere at the threshold of like, okay, this is we've achieved, we're gonna stop now. I think they want to continue to do investments, and because these things won't happen over a period of like 6 months, a year, or 2 years. These things need 3 to 5 years to be fully established. I mean, we have seen this through Dubai also with
Hmm.
the media city and other regional areas and offices that opened up in Dubai. It took them a while to come, set up, have a functioning business, and then make it happening. I mean, like, the other thing that we missed out on is our Web Summit episodes.
Hmm.
It has been really, what's here? We had Qatar, Lisbon, and Vancouver, and we'll be back at Qatar in February. I've just talked to the Summit team already secured my pass. So we should have more. And they are bringing back the same giants again for I think the third year. So you'll have Snap, Facebook, and everyone, Meta, um, TikTok.
And I even saw some of the key speakers they've laid out. So literally, I'd be like, ooh, I think for some of them it would be really key we want to have on because I think coming into the region, like I saw the Canva co-founders actually going to be speaking.
Yeah, and there's a lot of some like medium startups that are
Hmm.
doing pretty well. I think from Egypt and from Jordan that are doing pretty well, good business models. They're also in town. I reached out to a few of them to see if they're attending the web summit. We can get them on. I mean, like it's certain things that you don't get to hear in mainstream media,
Hmm.
and these are the small impacts. For example, Scale AI,
Oh yeah.
although it's gone a different direction now, but
From when it was announced at the Web Summit with the partnership with
yeah,
Qatar.
to where it sits right now. It's completely, you know, different medians. But who knew about Scale AI before it got investments? No one. And same thing with the last year. I can't remember the name of the company. Another AI company which Qatar as a country invested about $1 billion in. So and the announcement last week
Oh yeah. Oh
of
yeah. We need to get into, yeah, that we're gonna get into. So I mean, if anyone has been following the news, so the UAE's MGX has G42, which is actually involved in OpenAI's Project Stargate UAE. And then this year, Saudi's PIF announced Humain. So I think it was evident that I think Qatar realized that they needed to have one under the sovereign wealth fund QIA. So what do they call it?
I
With a Q.
the Q. No,
Exactly.
it sounds very much like Star Wars or a Kai. You know, I think it's one of
You know
the.
what when I pronounced it, I was like Kai Cenat, and I was like the creator, and I was like, oh no, it's with a K, it's with a Q. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, uh it was like, huh? Because I mean, just building on that. I mean, like they also this well, now that they've established this, and then they also just announced a partnership with a 20 billion, and I was like, huh? It's
Yeah,
like
I
they
think
just
it
announced,
was with the Brookfield.
yes,
Brookfield, yeah.
and I was like, wait. But oh yeah, but that also reminds me. You do know that QIA was actually involved in I think in the next round of seed fundraising or investments with Anthropic.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I'm guessing that all will sort of get folded into Kai.
I think everything will fall under it now. So I believe from like the Ministry of Communications or government GCO point of view of this investments, Kai is probably it's part of. I think it's so QIA is subsidiary of the global interest, right? And they are the ones driving the innovation ecosystem and everything with all the stakeholders in Qatar. So with this investment, rather than in foreign nations or foreign land and foreign companies, within the country itself into the same
Mm.
economy and utilize that investment to bring other things into the country. So I think it's mainly the idea is to empower people, serve the people and society. Because I saw a lot of the financial budget that was approved this year,
Oh yeah, they just put it out for the like 2026 budget.
$220 billion, $220 billion, the country's budget.
Yeah.
And you know what is the biggest budget, the chunk of budget going to? The two categories of it. Education is the highest, followed
Yeah,
by
I saw that.
healthcare. And these two institutions is where you need AI is reshaping industries across the world and all those things.
Well, actually, just to correct, I think I think you had the currency. I think they said 220.8 billion Qatari riyals. So
Qatari
what?
riyals, my bad. Correct
Yeah,
myself.
which if you convert it to dollars would be like, I mean, how many countries out there even like declare publicly their like annual national operating budget?
I mean, we say India, huh? It's a whole hoo-ha when the financial budget, the suitcase the finance minister takes to the parliament gets more airtime than the actual budget itself.
Yeah, and I was like, really? But also when going into this, when they launched Kai, yes, Kai, or we'll do the Arabic Kai, like Qatar,
Aye,
Kai.
aye.
I mean, they did it at the World AI Summit, which, after the Doha Forum. And I think it wasn't, if, I mean, when you look at it, I think it was a good, like, finally someone's woken up else. I mean, but it also shows that out of the GCC, you now have three primary main players. So you have UAE and you have Saudi and now you have Qatar.
Qatar.
And I don't know what Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain are doing because we focus on the region, but I think you know I think Oman is just gonna be like, nah, we can't focus on that. They'll just sit back and everything. They have different priorities, so that's I mean, every country has their own decisions to make. But
Yeah,
it's good to see that this is happening. So, but I'm guessing we'll start hearing more of what all they'll be doing in the new year because right now they've only spoken about this partnership with Brookfield, but at the same time it'll be like because as much as Microsoft has when it comes to the AI stuff, so I
yeah,
mean
yeah.
data will be a big part of it. I mean they already have an Azure region and a Google Cloud region in Qatar.
I mean, we
So
had Bill Gates recently last week in town for the forum. He was a keynote speaker. He signed a hell amount of MOUs with everyone, and as you're aware, the government infrastructure is built on Azure.
yes,
Privates privates go into Google, government goes into Microsoft, and like even us, we use Azure per se.
yeah, I
So
remember.
there's a huge investment, and it's just like getting bigger because now they move the data centers from Europe to Qatar.
Well, not move. I mean, it's not about additional region, but they've
Yeah,
also
I think they have
kept it to.
additional capacity. I think at the end of 2026, they're supposed to have a fully
Ramp,
set up ramp up
exactly, yeah.
operations within Qatar.
Yeah, I remember they started off small, but I know a lot of, Microsoft and all have this focus on, courting public sector when it comes to fueling it, because yes, digital transformation and now with AI fueling it. But this also brings in a very interesting, I mean, like now UAE also has Azure. They now have AWS after Bahrain,
Yeah,
and now they have OpenAI Stargate UAE, which by the way, uh so OpenAI actually just recently shared a little bit of a progress update on their Stargate data center. So I actually was seeing a photo that it shows they've done the prefab setup done. Now I'm guessing they'll be getting underway, building the walls, the cabling, and waiting for NVIDIA to send over these amazing chips. But at the same time, I also saw that OpenAI actually uh, has partnered with the UAE's AI office to launch an Arabic AI leadership guide. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. I tried opening up the link, but funny thing is that I get flagged, and I'm here in the US, and I get flagged for like trying to open the link itself. It's like, huh? Cloudflare issue and everything. I can open anything else with Cloudflare, and I was like, it takes me to their site, and it was like, what? What do you mean I can't open the damn PDF file? It says I've been blocked. I don't know, Khan. Maybe you can try and seeing it. I just sent you the link.
can you email me the link?
Uh,
Because I don't have access to my
uh how
WhatsApp.
about? Oh, you wanted a WhatsApp?
No, no, on the email
Hold it. Let
because I can then
me.
open it in the sky and see if
Oh
it
yes.
works.
Uh, yeah, the link is
You
actually
know,
at the bottom of the thing because I was like, huh. I was like, I'm blocked. I was like, literally, you announce this, and the next thing you know, you put a link to a PDF, but literally, I can't even read it. So I was like, this is very odd. I'd be very keen to see it unless they decided to, oops, we've password locked it or something, but it says no, I'm blocked.
interesting. It's just my inbox is updating. And this is just if I could just turn the phone around and show you how interesting the setup is here. I got my laptop on my here. I got the screen, the IFE screen split into two different screens. Where I have the video recording. I have the document for our podcast. This is and life just gets amazing.
Yep, you're home in the sky. Home is where the Wi-Fi is connected. And
It's
this is
yet
also
to come.
proof we're doing this live. We're not like pre-recorded this and everything. So we're just we're just
I
talking and
mean,
then
proof it is 6:45, December 12th. I know people believe like we've been just recording and then share it across. It's not that.
and as you know, we try to I mean that's another good thing is we've kept our setup very, very simple. So like so many other prominent podcasters at least are like, yes, sit down and everything. We do it virtually and we're hoping to we want to keep it this way. So at least that way when we have to go to if we ever go to events which have some relevancy to the Middle East region, then mic, camera, laptop, fast connection, and maybe portable light, especially just to help light up our face. and you can see
Uh,
Khan nicely.
yeah, I think the light is working fine now, but because I'm using the iPhone. But if I was to use, I think you put it in the chat here. Okay,
Yeah, I
sorry.
did.
Okay, it's opening.
You have to go to the
Wow.
bottom just to actually see the link to the PDF, which is why I was like, it says it's blocked me. And I was like, huh? And of course, in other news, when it comes to using Starlink, you also saw another airline in the region has actually announced they're adding it. But Khan and I also, I think while Khan opened it, we also want to sort of expand on it. That uh, one thing people really don't understand is, I work at the airline and Khan is of course still there. That when it comes to implementing it, the airline has to meet regulations, and it's not just it's not as easy as people think it is. And especially at least, when you fulfill it for, in this case, an aircraft type, then it makes it easier for other airlines. So you could say that, my previous employer and Khan's current employer, who were pioneers when they put it onto the 777s first. So if anyone else has a 777, it becomes easier. So
Yeah.
all the
So
work
it's
happened.
exactly, it's as simple as how do you say it? Once you learn to ride a bike, you get rid of the training wheels. So the next person, as you grow older, when you get the next bike, you're not gonna put on training wheels. You're just gonna keep riding it. It's, I think, the best life example I can give is
Exactly.
this is what's happening. And so other people have spent time and invested in it to bring to where it is. And not just our airline, but even for smaller aircraft, because now we have our executive arm, which will also
Ooh.
shortly be fully fitted. So Qatar Executive, all its fleet
Oh, private
will
private
have.
j- private jets with super fast Wi-Fi compared to any other private jet operator.
I mean, I think just yesterday, Kevin O'Reilly, he posted on his Instagram story that I've spent majority of my time in the view, looking out the window over his, I think it's a Gulfstream or G700 aircraft, and his main thing was, I'm so thankful to Starlink because I could stay connected. Imagine when you're a person of that caliber moving around, you don't know what's happening on the ground. You get on the ground, you're like, oh shit, I lost $10 million. Well, I'd rather be
While I was
updated about
disconnected.
it. Yeah.
Time is money. So
Um,
literally staying connected was basically worth the time. I mean, when you
yeah.
look at connectivity in private jets and all, it's been
Uh,
like, oh, it's expensive and all.
so the link is blocked for me also.
Ah, so I don't,
So
okay, so you see,
I think it's access to ai.gov.ie.
ugh. I was like, why is it, maybe the news release puts the link out there, and I was like, I do not understand it. It's like, why did, uh,
The site is dead.
ugh.
ai.gov.ae. It doesn't work. So they probably, I don't know, took it down or something, some changes. Because when was this published?
This was just published like near the
October,
bottom. Yeah,
29 October. So it's been 2 months. Yeah,
yeah,
probably they, I don't know, something happened.
yeah, something happened. But also building on that, so I don't know. So, going back to the discussion when it comes to the Qatar having data centers and even others in UAE and Saudi. So, as you know, uh, OpenAI has been on a big expansion partnership spree. I mean, they announced a partnership with the same airline that actually also announced adding Starlink. With well, I will
Mhm.
just say it starts with E. So literally, you can guess it. And I was like, huh, wow, this must be their first major global airline partnership. But at the same time, OpenAI has also launched. Excuse me for a moment, I can hear my son calling for me,
A few moments later.
I was
and
doing
I'm
some
back.
behind the scenes content to use it
Oh, really?
later.
That's good. At least that'll be there for me to. At least I can do the editing and all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so with regards to what I was mentioning with OpenAI, so they just launched uh, data residency, just like how Microsoft allows it for governments to keep it within their region so that it doesn't go anywhere else. And I think that's also, well, it links into something which I saw recently. Saudi tried to do is Saudis decided, or they're exploring, offering data embassies. So data centers that work just like how embassies
I
work.
miss.
And I was like, Well, Saudi has the land.
I mean, maybe they know something that we don't in terms of where the data leadership is going to take us or how influential it's going to be. Because currently, the way we look at data is we're looking, okay, we're going to gather this information to see if we can sell this product or if we can market this product. They're probably looking at something bigger, like,
I mean,
peop-
the advantage they have is they don't only have a land, but I mean, energy costs I think would be cheaper. I mean, look, you have gas, oil, and you have solar energy, but the also challenge would be cooling.
well,
Uh,
especially
such
when you're in the region of over 45 degrees majority of the year.
or sometimes
How do you
touching
cool
50 degrees
everything?
Celsius.
Yeah,
Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Celsius
Fahrenheit,
for listeners
Celsius.
out there.
Well, you got to do something. You got to do.
I mean, it's a thing. If now that OpenAI has brought data residency, especially right now, the only country that has it is in the region is UAE, which makes sense because I know Microsoft has investment partnerships with OpenAI, and up until I think when OpenAI's Stargate UAE is up and running next year, I think that's probably sitting in with Microsoft's cloud region. So
Oh,
then
yeah.
that'll just move over to their own data center. But with what Saudi has just, said that like data center embassies, and I was like, it's like, okay, this data center, you can, I mean, it's a lot of geopolitical challenges. It's like you have to sort of address how you would administer it legally because, and also there has been an element of trust. Because when I was reading about this, and I was like, it's a very unique proposition that they're offering.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you operate like if I don't know, Kuwait, I mean, every country would definitely want to have data sitting locally, especially with powerful cloud providers like, Microsoft and AWS. But comes down to a business commercial decision. I mean, is it worthy for them to go and set up another
Yeah.
region as such? I mean, they want to
Because
be efficient.
no, because exactly everyone wants to be efficient. Everyone wants to be the beat the buck kind of situation. Okay, I'm investing 100 million, but like, what is that 100 million going to get me
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Apparently, when I was looking into it, uh, Estonia was actually apparently, I think, the first that established this sort of data embassy concept, and the only other country that also tried it, is Monaco. As such, given how the demand for AI and how both the three countries are looking to position themselves as being the Middle East gateway hub for it. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they negotiate these with countries, especially with Kuwait. I mean, yes, you have the GCC. Yes, they're all closely related and linked and everything, but I'm sure even each of those countries have their own sovereign requirements. So how do you address that? As like, oh, look, Oman wants to get onto Azure, but there is no Azure region in Oman, and it doesn't make
There's
sense
no,
for Microsoft to come and do it. Set up.
but like there's there could be so Oman and Kuwait or even Bahrain could become hubs of operational support. Like they can build the infrastructure, they can bring in people, they can have all things you need, but not necessarily use it. So, they could actually be smart, like Bahrain, for example, or Oman. It sits on a more cooler areas as compared to other countries in the region. And they have
Yes.
access, they have a huge shoreline where they can have underwater systems, underwater, data centers and things like those. And especially with, I mean, we saw this, we discussed this last time in one of our episodes. I can't remember what was the theme, the Ghibli theme on ChatGPT. That
Yeah.
melted servers everywhere in the world because you don't know what is
Demand
going
for
to
it.
demand for. You never know what is going to be the next Ghibli moment. And now I'm sure you've seen Google launch Notebook LM.
Oh yeah. Well, not lot, but I know they've been expanding. They've been expanding it, and that's also going into Google's had a big year bringing a lot of Gemini powered features to the Middle East region. I mean, first it started off with AI overview, so when you search, you see a summary of it. It's been in the Middle East since just early part of I think it was late part of Q3, early midway of Q3 in English. Then they rolled out supporting for Arabic as well, and plus even AI mode, which is the more conversational form of searching, which what ChatGPT has been using with search and also with Anthropic and all. And now they've launched it first in English, and they finally brought it to Arabic, both for the MENA region. Oh, and I cannot forget YouTube. I think people really love to watch or use AI to create short video segments and all. And I know they released a very powerful VO3 model first in the US. They finally brought that into the region, and even they added. Like I actually saw it on our podcast account on YouTube as well as like the option is there for it to use VO3 to help with edits and maybe generate some footage as well for
Generous
the
foot.
MENA
Yeah,
region.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the best part, auto dubbing.
Automatically to different language. That's interesting.
The lip movements
That's
are not there yet, but literally I was like, huh? I was like, wow, that opens up a lot of opportunities. I was like, yes,
many
we
things.
speak in English. Please bring it into Arabic. I mean, I know it's still been rolling out, but I mean, I have it on my personal YouTube channel, and I mean, here's the funny thing: our podcast account on Instagram actually has the Meta AI dubbing translations. There's no Arabic, but I decided let me see how our guests sound in Hindi, and I was like, wow, yeah, it has Hindi and Portuguese options.
So I'm like, again, like technology advancements, requirements is going to be different for every country. Maybe Qatar is like, you know what, I don't want Arabic. I want
Mhm.
French and German. So how do they get the support? Now, let's say Google sets up centers in Saudi. They're like, okay, we're gonna have a specific center here for French and Chinese, and focus on the regional market to bring in information, content, and help the local communities. Same should be followed by other countries. There is no such thing as not wanting to invest in AI at the moment. Yes, 3 years, 4 years ago, it sounded foolish. Made no sense, but we all can sense now because I think the idea was everything would be automated. Uh, it is not at the
Mhm.
moment. There is still a manual interpretation, which I think are people preferring because as simple as ChatGPT, you have to give a prompt in a descriptive way to get exactly what you want. You just can't
Exactly.
say make me Superman. It can't make you Superman for no reason, right? So you have to be like, hey, okay, I'm gonna be in the scene here, blah blah blah. That is what people are
Even
loving.
camera angles is like, yes,
Yeah,
pan it, go for a close up, or zoom out for a wide shot, or give it an
I,
anime theme or a cyberpunk theme.
all those things matters, and the generation of it is not going to happen in the air, right? It's happening over systems somewhere, infrastructure somewhere that is using power somewhere, that is paying bills somewhere. So this all has a huge economic drive where countries should start investing. I think today I saw a reel. Can't remember if it was Malaysia or somewhere where Thailand, they lined up Bitcoin mining machines and they were rolling over it. So this is like these were illegal Bitcoin
They
mining
seized it
machines.
basically.
And because it's using up the resources like even the electricity, the power grids and everything without them being aware of it. So yeah, I think this will not only just bring opportunity, but it also bring scrutiny over consistency of information and its setup. Okay, I'm shaking a bit because we
Turbulence.
passing through some turbulence.
Yeah, well, the travails of when you travel, you never know when certain pockets of air disturbances will just create a little bump in the air, like people who drive fast cars driving over a speed hump.
Well, yeah, I think the year has been really fun for us.
But also, it's been fun. But also, we can't forget, like, now that all these tech brands have been offering subscriptions to their AI suite of features at a higher tier. It's funny, the funny thing is that, we talked about this in the episode with Sami, is like, whenever Middle East comes, it's always the first focus is UAE and Saudi because they're big commercial markets as such. Uh, and you know how India has sort of become a test bed for seeing, okay, maybe this is too much. Let's find a much more cost effective way to give them more limits because apparently, like, OpenAI has apparently shared that Chat GPT, second largest market is India after the
Yeah.
US. Now that Gemini, oh, and that also reminds me. So given how Gemini has been growing, apparently OpenAI has been in a panic mode, and they just announced a new Chat GPT 5.1 or no 5.2 model, and I was like, I guess the competition is getting tough. But also going back to subscriptions is so Google also brought their because Google has different tier subscriptions, like Ultra is the highest end, and they have it in all the markets in the GCC.
Yes.
The most interesting thing I saw is just below the free and the thing, and they have a mid-tier affordable option, which still gives significant amount of capacity for users. Is the Plus plan is only in 4 countries in the GCC, which is Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, and Bahrain, and they classified it as our more cost-effective, affordable plan for emerging markets.
I mean, it's what you market as, what you package as. If it
Yeah.
sells, it sells.
I know, but they still have Ultra. But the thing is, this plan isn't even available in UAE and Saudi. I think they realized that, you know what, UAE and Saudi not worth giving them that, because they want to have the latest and the best, most powerful, and the propensity of people to spend it. I think they have the incomes there to do it.
Well, when you also have a community that
Mhm.
is driving the force behind it, you and me as users signing up for a pro package, that gives another reason and intention to be like, okay, this is something that is required here, regardless how you sell it or not. For example, remember, back in the early days, we didn't have access to Apple TV, we didn't have access to Spotify. We had to use a store, change a Play Store location to US or Canada, link a card there, buy the stuff, even certain apps that we still can't use in the country, the region, which I don't know. This is, remember the topic I raised in Sami's episode of having a GCC union, like an EU commission
Like a
or a
GCC
GCC
regulatory body
commission
that's unified
body.
for the region.
Yeah. Which because why don't you want your brothers to excel while you're excelling as well?
Exactly.
If there's an opportunity for you to do something better, if one person is doing it, make a playbook, put it out there, follow if you like. We're here to help, and it's progress for everyone.
Exactly. I mean, I think if they're gonna pay attention to the region, you might as well pay attention to the immediate ones plus the neighbors. I mean, don't just, okay, maybe because, okay, every country has their own regulations. Okay, that's fine. But, at least whoever can meet, whomever's you can meet, bring it there first. And maybe those countries will suddenly say, I think we need to change our regulations to adapt, because I think we're still way behind. And then suddenly it's like, ta-da, we're bringing it to more countries. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, one country in the region, like, just like we mentioned with Sami, like, hypertension notifications and all came to Saudi and UAE. Even though when Apple launched the OS updates, I started like, oh, Qatar and Oman have it. So I was like, why don't they make a big fuss why don't they make a big song and dance
About
about
it.
it?
True.
I mean, it's a thing also with Middle East brands. I mean, but you know what? Business is business. So if one market emerges as probably the biggest commercial driver, then of course they'll see that it's worth separating. Which is why so many brands, I think, have realized they'll separate Saudi into its own separate beast. Just like I said before, Saudi is so big that you can take each of the countries, put it in twice in Saudi Arabia, and you would still have room for it.
I think this will just keep exploding. We keep hearing all this big announcements. We keep hearing all the big investments. These are all a facade in the front that we're doing this. You don't actually know if it's happening for up to 2 to 3 years. That is what I'm afraid of for Saudi, because they scaled back on many things in the
Yeah.
past few years. Is this something similar?
I mean, right? I mean, when you look at it, I mean, Saudi's been really flexing it. I mean, you saw they actually were part of the trio that actually acquired to make Electronic Arts, the game makers of the football games and Formula One games, go private. But
Yep.
apparently now the news has come out that the other financial backers were just there just for name, but apparently Saudi is taking up 90% of the ownership and management of it. And I was like, oh, wow, that's a big thing. And now the new thing is that everyone is fighting for Warner Brothers Discovery. So even though Netflix just put up an offer, and
Yeah.
Paramount Skydance, which apparently initially they were dispelling it, but now apparently people are still perpetuating it, that, oh, Paramount Skydance has got both UAE, Saudi, and Qatar financially backing the
Into
hostile
it.
takeover.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, okay, we'll see how that
Why
plays out.
not?
Yeah,
Why not?
exactly. Why not? I mean, they'll flex their way into entertainment, but I'm like, okay, but apparently it's like the three financial backers from the region are just they're just for money and everything, but they don't have any management say. And I was like, okay, so I guess they just wanted them as their ATM. But we'll see what happens after that. I mean, right now it's a whole thing, but if it doesn't expand or it does become official, then we'll get to dive more when we find out more. Uh, but also talking more on Saudi. I mean, they also under Humain they launched their chat app, which is currently still locally still in the country. I mean, I don't know when they plan to take it internationally. I mean, fully Arabic powered or generated, and using Arabic for that. So literally, I can imagine that you know it'll get better and better, and then I think when they feel it's really really good, then they will start releasing it out to the masses worldwide. So at least Arabic speakers around the world, no matter wherever they are, will start using it. Another thing is, do you remember? Do you remember when at least I told you about Saudia rolling out support for using air tags for baggage tracking? I mean, it made them the very first airline in the region to do this. So
I think
recently,
more than a year ago. Yeah.
well, yeah, they did, but Saudia was actually just a couple of months back were the first in the region to at least roll out support for that. Samsung has now gotten on board with the same concept. And guess who was their launch airline partner? Close enough to the region, but still, I mean, they have very good relationships with Qatar, the country.
Turkish. I wouldn't be surprised.
I know. I was like,
Well,
Samsung and them partnered up for this, and I was like, okay, so now Samsung's getting in on this. But I was like, come on, guys. I mean, the airlines. When you think about the Gulf airlines, you think, of course, Etihad, Emirates, and Qatar Airways, and soon I think we'll have to add Riyadh there once they're fully up and running. Why couldn't these airlines suddenly say, you know what, let's really go out there, let's try to be the first? I mean, and that's the thing, why can't they take the first step? Why are you being so apprehensive about it?
So I think you have to take passenger experience into account as well. You can't expect all the packs to be having a Samsung device or to go purchase a Samsung device. What I think airlines should do in general for these kind of initiatives is you offer them a package deal. Okay, buy 4 A tags for $100,
Yeah.
branded Qatar Airways with a
Oh
tag with
yes.
or something that stays same,
And
or
buy
just
them
drop
only the
it in your
duty
bag.
free.
Yeah, something like that, and get some perks of it,
Yeah.
like benefit it, because then if it is there in your checked-in baggage that you utilizing it, it's also beneficial to the airline, not just to yourself. So you can check yourself on the phone where your check-in bags are, but even the company or the airline will also know where exactly the bags are, not just if they're lost, but also in terms of delivery of service from the check-in backdrop area to the baggage service area to the aircraft and all those things. Technology can enhance like crazily when you have this live feed information. But I think it's still a curve where everyone treads very carefully
Mhm.
because you never know what those tiny light lithium batteries can do.
Yes. The ever constant threat of lithium polymer
Yeah.
batteries.
Imagine you suddenly have 500 bags on a plane, you have 500 mini lithium ion batteries.
Yeah, I know it's a risk, but but the thing is, but those batteries are not. Yeah, I know individually small they're fine, but so many of those smaller ones combined, yeah, it can. I mean, it also comes down to regulatory bodies. But the thing is, if airlines are already embracing AirTags, and when Apple rolled it out, and now Samsung's doing it with Turkish, I mean, I'm guessing they they've done their homework. So at least that way, I mean, it's not mandatory. It's like, oh, you have a Samsung, you're traveling with Turkish, you have your Samsung Smart Tag already in bag. It's like, yes, now we're going to help you track it if it gets misplaced. So that way, it's easier and quicker to recover it. But you know, but I know baggage systems have evolved. I mean, look at HIA, look at Dubai International and Dubai World Central, and even Zayed International Airport. I mean, yes, the likelihood of losing bags is still low, but it's still
Oh,
there's still that percentage, but it would still be good to see that
there's
number shrink.
it is getting better. Like today, I enrolled myself for biometrics in HIA. So check in, I did a biometric check in. So at the security gate, to go through immigration. I don't need to put my boarding pass or anything as such. Just came through. Then when you get to the boarding gate, you don't have to present your boarding pass again because then the gate recognizes you and lets you in automatically. So it's the beginning of the testing phase, but I believe we are heading there. Uh, at some point, everything will become out of our control in a way because we do want that freedom. Like we all get irked by taking our passport out, by taking our ID cards out to go to immigration counters, stand in line, everything. Everyone wants that freedom of expression and freedom of movement. And the only way you can do that is by giving people autonomous control over their experience.
Exactly. I mean, I guess, technology used to help simplify and streamline things while also, taking off the monotonous, painstaking burden of what was a manual process.
Well, that's good for a year-end wrap-up session.
Mm.
You want to add
But
something else?
I want to go into something. You remember how you mentioned people making like VPN spoofing and everything and all. So, more than a month ago, I actually stumbled on this news article that actually talked about VPN adoption rates by country. You want to guess which region actually came out on top?
Has to be Middle East.
Correct, but let's go more. Let's go a bit more. Which country in the Middle East topped it?
Saudi,
It's
UAE,
there, but not in number. It's Saudi is there, but it's number one. What's the other country you
Qatar.
mentioned? Qatar's there. It's like number two.
Who's one?
I
Oman
think you just mentioned it.
or UAE?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, given the restrictions of VoIP and everything that you have, is it not a crime to have VPN in UAE?
Well, no. Well, the UAE has said that if it's used for they have policies and rules they've put when it comes to VPN. But if they see you're using it for anything illegal and everything, then you're sort of breaking the law. But I was like, how do you know that? What a VPN is spoofing your
Which
traffic?
means they're always watching you.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, huh? I was like, how do you know what is everything? And I mean, like, because when I was looking at the table they put, and I was like, VPN app downloads is like, apparently, this was up until the first half of 2025. It was like the UAE is on top, then Qatar comes second, and this is worldwide rankings, but like Oman is actually fifth worldwide, then Saudi is sixth. And Kuwait is ninth. So I was like, yeah, the GCC region is literally up there. Actually, yeah, it was actually no, that's the adoption rates in a way, but by app wise, like it's UAE, Qatar, Oman. That's like three in the globally wise, and then six is Saudi, and then you even have Jordan, which makes it in the top 10. So I was like, okay, yeah, exactly. I was like, all right, app downloads. I was like, it doesn't go into which ones, but there's everything from NordVPN to ExpressVPN to Tor, Onion. So I was like, yeah, I don't know, Khan, if do you remember at a time back in Qatar where FaceTime calling and WhatsApp calling worked and none of our neighbors had it, but then a certain event for a few years actually saw that privilege go away?
Yeah, I mean, like, see, I said a few things, regulations. We don't know what it's being used for apart from its intended use itself. And for that specific reason, like iPhones, the ones you get in Hong Kong and I think Japan, they mandatory have a shutter speed, shutter sound. When you take a
Yes,
photo, you
you cannot
cannot
even switch it
remove
off.
it. You
Yeah.
cannot switch it off. It is a band. And like recently, I think India was in hassle of troubles for asking Apple and other devices to install a local spyware platform for the
So
well-being of the people. I'm like,
yeah,
how can you well-being of the people by spying on them? So I think these are all those
but
things
then
that
Apple said no, and even I think they even tried to ask Samsung and all to do, but then they all said no, and then they just decided to recant it. So I was like, really, India?
I don't think there has been official no yet. Unofficially, I think it's a no
No,
by
India
everyone.
apparently has officially said no. They even put it out from the government because I saw it and I was like, huh, wow, they recanted quite quick.
Well, let's see what 2026 brings for us.
Another few fun things. So you know how when we were when I was back in Qatar, they brought Apple Pay and then they brought Google Wallet Pay few months before the World Cup. I mean, Apple Pay was there for more than a year, but Google Wallet came like few months before the World Cup back in 2022. So this year alone, and I was like, apparently they finally brought Google Pay to Saudi Arabia. I was like, wow, that took you that long, even though I thought you could have done it in 2023.
And
I
again,
don't know.
regulation.
And then Oman and Lebanon as well. So I was like, okay, Lebanon I think will have taken time, but Oman, come on, at least Oman are being around with UAE and Saudi and the rest of GCC would be like, okay, they've kept their back ends on infrastructure on par as much as possible. But I was like, I'm guessing it also comes down to customers, penchant or the inclination of like, will this work or will it not work? And let's wait and see. But that's as much I think I feel that's a lot as much as we can maybe cram or talk about, especially with this year-end episode.
Yeah, we'll have, because I have about an hour before I think an hour and a half before we land. So I just want to quickly wrap up this. If you look at the mess here, it's always, it looks good at the front, but there's always a mess somewhere else. So I have to clean the mess and
The camera
prepare
that
myself.
captures the camera.
The camera that captures the camera. I think this wonderfully wraps up. I think we invested more time and more interest this year, and this will only continue into the next one with starting off with Web Summit in a way. But I'm sure we'll do something else before that. The year hasn't ended yet. Inshallah,
Exactly.
we might have one more episode to do.
You never know.
You
I
never
mean,
know.
exactly. Surprise, surprise. It might just be a holiday surprise, but so far, this is our year-end wrap-up.
Let's hope for it, but we'll try and bring you more on that. I think with that, yes, any last words before I say goodbye?
No, I mean, I just, it's like I said, I think it's been a good year for us, even though I know we've taken this and handled this virtually, and you've been nicely jet setting while I've been enjoying a career break and parenting. And for those of you also don't know, so I'm actually starting grad school this January. After so many years, I put on my bucket list, so I'll be doing my master's here at UT Dallas. And of course, let's not forget, in about a couple of months, we have the biggest sporting event happening here.
Indeed. Let's see how that turns out.
Yeah, let's see how that turns out, especially with ticket prices. And I was like, no, thank you. I'll just watch it on TV or something and all. But, our third episode up in the air. And as Khan sort of teased, you never know. Just like we might have a cliffhanger ending for you.
We'll try not give much away, but if it happens, you'll definitely watch it after this for sure. Hello. But
we might use it to open up our next season. It's like, ta-da!
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be fun, actually.
Yeah. Yep. And I think with that, just over northern Canada, before I make my land into minus 10 degrees. Hopefully, I'm prepared
Minus
for the
10?
snow.
I hope you brought
10.
a thick jacket.
Yeah, I'm not leaving the airport, so at the moment I'm staying in the airport, so I'll stay warm. But I do have some jackets in my carry-on just to stay warm. But yeah, until the next one, the other Khan signing off the sky, and probably see you on the ground sometime soon. Take care.
And this is, Yasser. We're signing off. And of course, as a reminder, we have a website. So please do go check it out. We have a blog on it. So we tend to expand on more of our episodes. We'll have a few coming up, especially with our recent episode, plus maybe on this as well to summarize in a crunch. But thank you, listeners and viewers. Please subscribe if you don't know, share around. If you find our podcast to be really insightful since we focus on the Middle East region. Words of wisdom and feedback really helps us. We have a form on our website, and like Khan mentioned, if you know anyone that you think we should feature, especially on something which is relevant to the region, from global to the region, drop us a line.
Very much. We'll see you all soon. Goodbye.